Hey guys, I really hope you appreciate my dedication. I'm standing out here in the snow to make a video because one of my New Year's resolutions is to be productive. And this is also for dramatic effect because snow is beautiful. I just had a question though. If I were to be an animal, do you think I would blend in? Do you think like the predators would be able to catch me? I think I'm literally like a snow bunny right now. I don't think they'd get me. One of the reasons I'm out here is because a goal of mine eventually is to definitely not a main income, but one of the things I want to do is become a landscape photographer. So when I see beautiful scenes like this outside, it's really imperative that I come out and just experiment with it because the world is giving me an opportunity to grow right now. This is like kind of one of the things that I really appreciate my parents for. When I was growing up, we started out in Brooklyn, and we never got to enjoy the snow like this, you know? Like, when it snowed, the snow became slush in like 0.5 seconds. There wouldn't be like any moments of it just being like white and beautiful. Nothing wrong with black. I'm not racist. I don't see color, you know what I'm saying? But like, I mean the snow. Anyways, it would just be slush in like half a second, and then we would have to like walk to school, and it would just be brown and disgusting, and cars are going through, and people are having to go to work as usual because the government doesn't care about anybody, and we have to go to work anyways in any type of weather. But yeah, so basically, especially since I was a kid, it would just be like knee deep in some slush, and it would be brown and disgusting. But my parents worked hard, and we were fortunate and blessed, and we found a way out, and we kept moving up as long as I've been growing with them. And now we have a nice backyard where I can actually enjoy the snow. So I tend to cherish moments like this because it's just beautiful. And you know, one thing that was really interesting, for a long time, I actually really had no clue that technically at the time we weren't doing that well financially. Because my dad was the main one supporting us, and my parents told me that we had to rely on credit cards for a while, which is the story of a lot of people, especially nowadays. So we weren't doing that well financially, and that's why we were living where we were living. But I really had no clue because there's something about like childish ignorance or like bliss, I guess, where you can just kind of enjoy whatever situation you're in so long as like basic needs are met and like, you know, there's family and friends around, you know. My mom, she loves to decorate, so she always made the house look nice inside, and we would have a good time and watch musicals and, you know, eat our spaghetti and stuff. And my mom got obsessed with making salmon at some point. Me and my dad loved like Marvel and Star Wars and things. So I always had a good time with family, and always had a connection with family and like media, which is part of why I want to do what I do, you know, making movies, writing books, because I also used to read a lot of books when I was younger. It's so funny actually because the book thing started as a punishment because, not as a punishment, but I mean, if I did something, you know, that wasn't so great, my parents weren't like too keen on like spanking all the time and stuff like that, which is like not so great. So they would put me on punishment, which would basically just be putting me in my room, taking away technology. And if it was for a number of days, maybe where they took my technology, they would offer that I could read books. And so at first I didn't like that, you know, my technology would be taken away, but then I would end up reading this like amazing book that I probably wouldn't have before. And it got me really into reading, which I think is really necessary. That's actually part of why I kind of admire what Kai Cenat's been doing, reading for some minutes every day, and encouraging viewers to do so as well, because reading is really essential, and it's something that we're kind of missing today in society. It's just less fundamental. Even in school, a lot of the kids can't read to like the standard level they normally would be able to read by like the 3rd grade or so. So I think it's great to like be able to reconnect with like reading, and definitely increase media literacy, because Lord knows people would probably be confused by some of the things I write because I don't like to over-explain, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was in high school or even back in middle school, you know, teachers taught us not to over-explain, don't tell, show. So we learned at that point how to you know, come up with good storylines or explain something without just straight up saying it, you know? Like how there would be those teachers that would be extra and be over dramatic explaining what the meaning of like a red door is and like how that signifies pain and stuff. And some people hated that. I know a lot of people hate that because it is extra, but it is also fun because it just teaches you to like analyze things deeply for the same reason that people think that math helps you solve problems in real life. I don't think it does. I think that's really stupid, but whatever. I think if anything that English does, because it literally is in our language. Well, not in our language, not everyone speaks English. My point is, English literally does like teach you to analyze things and think deeper, especially when you read like mystery things or like psychological books or anything like that. It's a lot of yapping I'm doing, but I'm just, like I said, enjoying the snow because not everyone does get to enjoy the snow, especially if you're like in hotter environments. And a lot of people like to stay inside when it snows, but there's something to be said about coming outside in moments like this because you get to experience nature just like in such a stillness and quietness that's just not common most of the time. Like, I'll stay quiet for a bit and we'll just stand here. You hear how quiet that is and like how beautiful it is? It's just something to be said for snow and coming outside in it, you know? Alright, peace out. Love, Amara.